All right. All right. Check, check, check. Think everybody can hear me. All right. Well, I guess for starters, I'm Ink1. For anybody that's watching this channel, you obviously know who I am. And I said I was going to make this video a long time ago, and I just been kind of procrastinating. Well, actually, it's pretty much right on time because it's like a month after the release of the book, and I said I was going to make a video giving you a preview of the book for anybody that wanted to see like a preview version of my new book that just came out. Friends Don't Make Friends, Draw Waifus. I am super proud of this thing, even though it was like way more labor than I wanted to put in, and way more effort than I actually thought I could do. It's 190 pages of, I don't know, I guess you could say anime goodness or whatever. But we're gonna go over and we're going to review the book. If you want to purchase it, I will put the link down in the video below. We'll also put a link for the unedited free version that I put out, in case you guys want to go and just kind of preview it before you buy it. The unedited version is unedited, so there was a lot of mistakes in it. So just letting you guys know, the edited version is good. If you want to get the edited version, you can also get it by joining my Patreon or subbing to my stream. You also get a link to get the full digital version if you don't really want to pay for the physical version. But I'm hoping that this will become one of those must-have books to join the likes of like Drawing the Marvel Way. For starters, this is not a how-to book. It's more of a why-to. It's more of an explanation of why I do the way I do what I do, like how I draw and why I draw the way that I draw. It does kind of have a how-to explanation, but I don't want people going in thinking that I'm trying to teach you how to draw something. If there's anything that I'm trying to get from this book, it is to get you to understand that everything is made up of basic shapes, and when you get to the point that you're supposed to be at in your drawing journey, you will have your own shapes and your own everything and stuff like that. Well, without further ado, we may as well go ahead and just jump into this. For starters, when I started working on this book, it was supposed to be a joke, and that spiraled into something like way more than I actually thought it was going to be, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But when I was streaming, my friends would always ask me to draw waifus or women, and I didn't really like to draw them in provocative ways or whatever. So my bright idea was to make a book that basically showed them how to do it, so that they would stop asking me to do it. Hence the name, Friends Don't Make Friends, Draw Waifus. It's supposed to be like a parody, but it just kind of stuck. We went through several different names. It was literally the only name that I knew that would actually fit the book. So for starters, like, we have the cover. It looks exactly like the digital version. So, you know, we have the cover here. It's about this thick, if you don't remember seeing. I love Clip Studio, by the way. Being able to do this makes it so much easier to review it, and so much easier for you guys to see. So yeah, as you can see, like the full artwork on the cover, stuff like that. Shout outs to Two Senseless for editing it and making it more readable, because that was great. Okay, so like this, basically, yeah, it's the cover. So the entire process of the cover was just a fiasco in itself. This literally just happened on a whim. This was supposed to be one of the waifus for the inside of the book, but I was like, waifus, anime, tentacle girls kind of go together, and it just kind of went from there. I am super proud of the way this cover came out and why I chose to do it. Now we'll go ahead and dive into the inside of it, and you have your front cover right here. When you open it up, you will have two blank covers and then a logo. The logo area is basically for where I'm going to be doing remarks. So if you ever see me, you want me to sign the book and stuff like that, this is the area for remarks. If For any of you guys that don't know what remarks are, they're signature drawings. Instead of like just signing art books and stuff like that now, it's trendy to draw pictures. So if you ever get a book straight from me, which you order them from Barnes & Noble, so if you can order it straight from them, but if you get one straight from me, I will sign it and remark it with a custom drawing. So then you go to the next page, and of course we have the logo. Friends don't make friends, draw waifus. This logo has been there since the very beginning. Again, this book took me 3 years to make, so this was what the first thing that I made, and it had several different mascots that went to it before we decided on the tentacle girl. Oops, wrong way. So then we got the creators, or the people that helped me create the book. You know, of course, me. Diane Doe, Too Senseless. She actually edited the book originally, and then I ended up having a friend of mine named Zelda Queen go and re-edit the book. Too Senseless had her own like business and stuff to attend to, so she wasn't able to finish editing. So I just had Zelda Queen jump in and help her out. She was doing it. They both did it for free. I offered to pay, but you know, they're such good friends. They offered to do it for free, and trust me, the writing was fucking horrendous. It was terrible. It was so yeah, just so you guys know, they went through a lot. So moving along, we have the explanation of waifus. I mean, this is straight out of Google. I looked it up on Google, Wikipedia. This is the definition I found. The most straightforward definition of a waifu, if anybody really doesn't know. I didn't know anything about it when I started drawing them. I didn't know why people called them waifus. I knew nothing about it. All I knew is people were asking me to draw these anime-looking girls in sexy poses and stuff, and I just really wasn't with it. But I mean, I guess I grew to, you know, enjoy it, because I actually am very good at doing it now. Well, better than I used to. Then we have the prelude or the prologue. Please read this if you get the book. And if you feel some type of way about this kind of stuff, please don't read the book. I don't want to hear anything and get no backlash from sensitive people that don't like to look at half naked women and you know, all that stuff. Like, it's an art book. So yeah, these pages just basically explain what I used to draw like when I started, and what I draw like now that the book is done, and what I learned from the experience of making the book. I did learn a lot, because I didn't like drawing women like this when I first started, and this kind of brought out a part of me that I didn't know that I had, and it made me progress a lot. The picture on the left was drawn by me, but it was colored by my friend Too Senseless, because I didn't like the color. Still don't like the color, but the picture on the right was drawn by me and colored by me, which goes to show I learned how to color, and I learned to appreciate coloring a little more by the time the end of this book was done. So big old journey happened. Then of course you have the premise of the book. Everything is made up of basic shapes. You know, this is what you'll learn while you're sifting through the book. This is pretty much what this category is about. It's just kind of basically explaining what I mean by everything is made up of basic shapes. Also, feel free to pause the book pause the video at any point to read the book or check it out or whatnot. Or you can just download the digital version if you want to do that. This is basically explaining what I think about foreshortening. You know, self-explanatory. I go through various examples and reasons why I use the stuff that I do. What you'll also see in the book is some pages are just sketches. I wanted every picture in the book to be sketches, but since I decided to put a art gallery in the back of the book of all the drawings that I did for the viewers, because I had opened up a Discord where you could just request whatever waifus you wanted, and I would draw them no matter how weird or raunchy they were. So I made an art gallery full of the best ones, and it ended up being like 100 pages. So, you know, shout outs to that extra 100 pages. Then we just slowly roll into different sizes and how I approach each size, and the technique that I use and stuff like that, and the body types that I genuinely use. Now, this doesn't cover every body type, but it covers the 5 body types that I use. And then I just kind of mix and match to get the body styles that fit what I need, you know, and stuff like that. Then we roll into how I draw heads. The way I draw heads is very simple. It's like upside down egg shape. You don't have to use this. That's the one thing that I try to get through people's heads, is that it is not to copy what I am doing. It is to figure out what works for you. You'll see and hear that a lot in this book. Do not copy my shapes. Figure out ones that work for you, because a lot of art books will say draw your eye like this or do your head this way. No, that's not the point. The point is to get you to understand that when you are a master of your own anatomy drawings and stuff like that, you will have your own techniques, and that is what you explain to people when they ask you how you draw stuff. It is the way you draw it, not the way someone else draws it. So now we go into eyes, of course. How I draw eyes. I always use blue sketches over red, of course, so the red can tell you which basic shapes I use, and the blue is just a basic sketch underneath. You know, so if you're trying to read it and figure out what the heck's going on in the picture, that's what's going on in the picture. The red is basically the basic shapes I use for those of you guys that don't understand art books and stuff like that. For those of you that do, it's second nature. Of course, the first section is all about the head and the features of the head and stuff like that, including teeth. People don't explain how to draw teeth enough, or they don't explain why you draw teeth a specific way. One of the things that I struggled with when I was growing up was drawing teeth, because I was always putting lines in between, and then when I would ink it, it would look like they had gaps in their teeth. Now that I'm a tattoo artist, you cannot do that. You will ruin the tattoo. You know, there is also several throughout the book, see several things that seem rather provocative. It is an anime waifu book. It is meant to teach you to draw sexier type women. I don't know if I touched on that enough. I tried to find a way to explain hair as simple as I possibly could. There's so many different ways to draw hair. This is just the way I draw mine. I try to cover all styles of hair, including like African American hair, which is really hard to explain. Really easy to draw if you understand the premise of it, but it's really hard to explain. So, but I cover my thoughts on it, give you guys a couple of examples, stuff like that, so on and so forth. Then we got the Just a Face challenge. Generally, it's exactly or Just Face It challenge. It's generally what it says it is. Just face it. You're basically just drawing faces, no ears, no hair, no nothing, just faces in a circle. It's the best way to learn how to draw faces. It's how I learn how to draw faces. Hopefully it will work for you. I mean, if not, well, you know, like I said before, this is not the end all be all. It is not to teach you how to draw anything. It's to explain to you how I learned. Then we go into torsos. Personally, for me, torsos weren't that hard to learn. It was just a couple basic shapes. The only thing that I realized about torsos that helped me draw them better is breaking them up into several shapes instead of just one. I used to draw my torsos as one shape, and then hips as one shape, and then thighs as one. They was all one shape until I realized that it's not one shape. For me, it's easier for me to draw it when I break it up the way it's supposed to be broken up, hips and thighs. It's easier to make girls look thicker. It's easier to manipulate the skin over the body when you understand what's underneath, so on and so forth. You know. Then we go to the back. Not very much to the back unless you're drawing muscles, because if you're not really drawing any muscles or any detail, back is pretty simple. It's the back of the stomach. What do you want me to say? Like, it is what it is, you know. Then we go to arms, okay, so the picture in this illustration was the reason why I actually decided to do a book, because when I did this page, I was like, holy crap. And it's also the reason why I decided to start coloring the pictures, because I colored this one and I was like, holy crap, the book would probably look really, really professional, or at least a whole lot better if I had a couple of colored images in it. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. And then I had already had like 40 pages. So production, like production stopped, and I went back and started coloring stuff and arranging the way the pages looked and how to lay them out and stuff like that. This was the best that I could come up with. So if it's not good enough for you, like, I don't know what to tell you. It was my first ever book. I don't think I'm ever going to make another one. I mean, unless for some reason this one just sells off the shelves and I know people really, really want it. Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to make a book with words ever again. It was too much. And so this is the arm section. Pretty much all of this is for arms. I don't really know what to write for arms because arms for me are not that complicated. But again, when you're trying to explain things to people, what you see in your brain as to what you explain is completely different. It was very hard for me to find how to explain stuff. So, you know. And of course we have hands. Box of hot dogs, for anybody that knows me, was like my staple for a long time. But as I started drawing this book, I realized that box of hot dogs is not sufficient enough for people to learn how to draw, because my son couldn't do it. It was the most simplest explanation you could possibly give for how to draw hands, but people sometimes don't grasp simple. So you could always look up box of hot dogs online. There's videos all over the place. Box of hot dogs is mine and another friend of mine by the name of Sticky. We both draw hands similar. The name box of hot dogs belongs to him. I just updated and upgraded the technique to fit with like my modern style of drawing. So of course this whole section is explaining why I changed what I did and how I changed it and how it works better for me now, or how it works better for me explaining how to draw hands and why I draw hands so much better than I used to draw them. So, you know, that's this whole section. It's just the hands. Which I kind of kept adding to the hand section. The hand section was literally only 4 pages, but I kept adding to it because I was like, people need to see this. People need to understand this. Hands are something that people struggle with a lot when they're learning. Legs, not so much. This is pretty much straightforward. It's pretty much like drawing arms, except the thigh area, which is why I emphasize so much on the thighs and the calves. The hardest thing for me to draw was the separation between the thighs, the knees, and the calves. That breaking point right here, where you transition into the calves, it always had a hard time making it look feminine, you know, and it would always kind of throw me off. So that's pretty much all I added for that section, was how I broke it up to make it feel feminine and not masculine. You don't really have to draw a ton of leg like detail in order to get a leg to look feminine. As a matter of fact, it's kind of encouraged that you don't do that. But if you're making a muscular woman, at least you still have it. In each section, I always added like some kind of like dumbed down anatomy. And yes, I said dumbed down because I have to dumb down anatomy in order to draw it. Like, it's just that simple. Yeah, I don't like drawing complex anatomy. I like to work with shapes, not actual anatomically correct stuff. So a lot of this stuff won't make sense if you're looking at anatomy, but it makes sense when you draw it. It's about comfort. So that's what I went with. And then of course, this whole section is about thighs, which is what I was explaining before. Hips and thighs, why they're different, why they should be different, what it does. Of course, and there wasn't really much to explain on that. So then we go right into butts. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all read this part, you know, like when you get the book, so that you can, you know, understand it, maybe mow over the few words that I put over and over so you can get the gist of it, you know. But it just basically explains things that people don't do with butts and why their butts look stiff. They always look like a rock hard butt from the gym, when if you want squishy, they're squishy, and there's a way to do squishy, and a way to get it to look juicy rather than tough. You know, if you're going for the juicy look, this just basically explains how to make things look thicker. I don't mean thick like you know, a 2x4. I mean thick like soft, and how to make it look that way in a picture, and work with gravity, and understand how fabric and material works with skin, and just how to make it show, how to make things look thicker and rounder and stuff like that. This helped me make my girls look more sexy, and it was a game changer, a huge game changer. And then of course we have feet. Feet are the bane of my existence. They always have been. You think feet are easier to draw than hands, and if you are, we aren't friends. Okay, I don't want to hear that. Feet are so hard to draw, but I finally figured out a method that made it easier for me to draw. And then it made it harder for me to draw feet with shoes on. I go figure. Had to go relearn how to draw feet with shoes. A lot of learning going on here. But I definitely recommend studying the feet section. I put a lot of effort into the foot section because I know it's like a tough area for me. Might not be for you, but definitely a tough area for me. And of course, we go to the breast section. Now, I definitely, if you're a young kid or you're a beginning artist and you're drawing women, definitely look at this. Something that every male artist that I know does when they draw women, and it makes that mistake early on. How you draw breasts, what breasts are supposed to look like, how it interacts with clothing, gravity, all of that stuff that, like where the nipples go. They don't put this in a lot of art books because they don't really want to touch on it because they want to sell art books to kids. This is not a kid's art book. I want you guys to understand when you draw it, you don't necessarily need to put nipples on everything, but you damn sure need to know where they go so you know how the breast is supposed to face. It helps you with that. Also, like I did things like this where it's like, no bra, sports bra. These are things that you need to understand because people they draw everything exactly the same no matter what the person is wearing. Cannot do that if you're an artist. Just saying. You don't want to do that. And then of course breast size. Cup size can go out of control. I just touched on the 3 that I think people need to know. And then, of course, I gave you some examples of what people always draw. This is basically the normal size I see people draw. This is not normal real life size. This is just size that I see everybody draw. So I put examples of what I normally see people go for when they're drawing breasts. They don't ever really go for anything smaller. I suggest drawing women with and without large breasts, and learn how to draw women looking sexy without emphasizing TNA. You know what I mean? It's definitely something to look into. And of course, nipples. Like self-explanatory. I was just talking about that, where to put the nipples, stuff like that. I think this is the last section in the explanation part of the book. Yeah, it is. And then of course, the very last thing I like to touch on is something that I really hate about when people draw stuff like this. It's the oversized, big, ridiculously unfunctional breasts. Yes, these do exist, but people love to go directly to this kind of stuff to be eye candy for horny little boys. As a budding artist or a growing artist, you need to be able to do sexy without throwing sugar on everything. It's pretty much what this is. It's like, oh my God, this shit looks disgusting. But if I throw some sugar on it, and that's what that is. It's like you feel like the woman can't be sexy unless you over exaggerate the areas that make horny boys go crazy. When if you are a seasoned artist or you are growing to be a seasoned artist, you know that this is not necessary. And I emphasize on the fact that you don't need to do this all the time. It's like the high-pitched note in a song. You do it every now and again, it makes it worthwhile. If you do it all the time, it just makes it pointless. Just makes your art get dull and seem more like a one-trick pony. Just some final notes. I did this like the day I finished the book, the actual day I finished it. I did all the art gallery and everything, and then I didn't have anything to put on this page, so I just sketched this girl up and put some final thoughts and stuff like that and threw it in there. You'll be able to see the difference in the art style and know which pages I corrected and which pages I left the same, because you can tell the difference in the way the art looks in some of the areas. I drew a lot looser when I first started, tightened it up along the way, and then of course we have the start of the art section. This is the sketchbook. I'm not going to show you guys any of the art except for like maybe the first 3 or 4 pages of the sketchbook. If you want to see it, you can buy the deluxe version or whatever. I just wanted you guys to see the educational portion of it because I gave it away for free. There's a lot of art in here that's like unnecessarily provocative, not a lot of nudes, very, very lewd stuff. There are nudes in there. Some of them are very weird, but not very many of them. But there are some, like most of the stuff is just, it really is just lewd, you know, but most of it is like what other people ask me for. So if you really want to check these out, it's an extra 100 pages of, you know, anime goodness. The very back of the book has all the names of the people that supported me while I was making the book. If you donated money while I was making the book, I put your name in the back of the book. That still stands. If you donate any money, any further iterations of the book, because I update it all the time, it is going to be a growing book, because I will release digital revisions of the book until I don't know when, till I decide that I've perfected the book, because there's a lot of stuff that I really want to explain and I don't know how to, but I'm proud of what I made. I wanted to make a book my entire life. I made one, and I am super proud of it. But if you want to see the rest of it, you will definitely have to go and check it out, like via download. Like I said, I'll put it in the description, in the bio. Like, so look below for in the description. I'll also put a link to buy the physical copy. Again, the physical copy looks pretty much, it looks exactly the same. You know, there's really no difference. You know, like it's the same. I like the idea of doing a digital preview so you guys can actually see in clarity what it's like, but it is pretty much the same. And I am utterly proud of it. With that being said, there's your video. Again, I'm Ink1. Hopefully you guys like it. Share the video with people you know that might be interested in learning how to draw waifus and don't really have any books to look into getting and stuff like that. Maybe this might be one of those books that you treasure. You can also, there's a link in the back of the book to join my live stream. Like on all questions, I'm only there to help. I literally only stream to help people and just, you know, talk. I love hanging out. I'm not super popular. I'm pretty much just like you guys. I'm learning. I love to learn. All I do is learn on my channel. I am now learning. By the time this video is probably done, I'll probably be learning 3D modeling. So I'm now learning 3D modeling just so I can help people that don't know how to do 3D model, because I like to share my knowledge to people that literally have a problem with learning, or they have a problem with learning from people that are experts that don't necessarily know how to teach to people that have a problem with learning. Everybody learns differently. And I understand that if you don't know how to teach somebody, it's generally because you don't know how they learn. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I think that fulfills my obligations. I think I did everything I said I was going to do with this book. So hopefully you guys like it. And if you really do like it, I don't mind doing something else, but you have to really show me you like the book. If not, then this will be something that you guys will have forever, and I will have it forever, and we'll treasure it, and it'll be a beautiful memory that we all shared. And I will move on to things that I actually like. If not, I will consider, if you guys really do like this, I will consider doing a guy version of it. I think the guy version will be a lot heftier and a lot funner for me, because I love drawing monsters and robots and male superheroes and stuff like that. That's like my thing, and tattoos, but we'll get into the whole tattoo thing later. I am thinking about doing a series of tattoo explanation books, but those, I have no idea how I'm going to tackle that. And it won't be a lot of words. It will literally be probably a paragraph and a whole bunch of examples on how to draw said thing. But that's neither here nor there. Don't quote me on that. But I'll see you guys next time. Yeah. I think that is it. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, life is a canvas. All you need is ink. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay positive.